Ladies on boats can be so judgmental. Always nagging. Always tanning. Tanning and nagging, nagging and tanning. Getting browner. Getting meaner. Hey, does this have anything to do with this week's episode?
So maybe you've got some spare building materials laying about. Maybe you feel the need to perpetrate a massive lie. Well, if that's the case, then I suggest you pay close attention to this week's review on Potemkin Villages. Lies and shams are what Potemkin Villages are all about, so it's only fitting that the story which gave rise to the term is at best a half-truth. You see, it stems from when a Russian minister called Grigory Potemkin wanted to impress his ruler, Catherine the Great, with a shoddy piece of territory he'd recently conquered in the Crimea. The problem being, of course, that the territory was shoddy, and she was going to come by for a look-see real soon. Knowing that Her Highness was going to be looking at her new lands from the comfort of a boat, and knowing what river that boat was going to be going down, Potemkin instructed his soldiers to build a whole bunch of fake village facades along the side of the river to give the illusion of many new followers and thriving industry that was going to pour wealth into the queen's coffers. Never mind that there are at least 3 other versions of history that change or outright contradict the story I just told you, because the story I just told you, however accurate, is still in circulation, and so the term Potemkin village lives on. World War II gives us a pair of proven examples. In 1944, the Germans were keen to dispel rumors that they were having mass killings at their concentration camps, and so they invited the Red Cross to inspect one of their camps at Theresienstadt. In true Potemkin style, they had the prisoners there build false storefronts that suggested pleasant cafes and places for people to browse and shop, and they also had the prisoners repaint any of the rooms which were going to be inspected. In true Nazi style, the prisoners who helped to dress up the camp and turn it into a kind of Potemkin camp were then sent away elsewhere to be killed, thus solving the image issues caused by Theresienstadt's overpopulation. Over in Helsinki, the Finns were putting Potemkin village tactics to a far more noble use. There, they were building large, fake, important-looking structures to try and act as a kind of Potemkin water bra, encouraging the Russian bombers to swing in and harmlessly drop their loads on the big fakes. But if you fancy building your own Potemkin village, then the finest example you could learn from would be the village of Kyeongdong, which lay along the northern side of the Korean demilitarized zone. Kyeongdong was built in the 1950s as a propaganda tool to try and entice South Koreans into defecting. It's built entirely of concrete structures which have been brightly painted, and, well, I guess it has one other feature. It has the world's largest flagpole, which was the end result of a very literal dick-waving contest between the 2 sibling nations. Right from the start, the Koreans claimed that this was a pleasant village populated by about 200 very happy communists, who enjoyed what was then a luxury for Koreans of either side, electricity in almost every building. True, the South Koreans could see lights from their side of the DMZ, but these lights were, and are, on timers. Back then, they were also unable to tell that the buildings had no windows, and that some of them didn't even have rooms, that they were just concrete molds. The only human activity was that of a team of janitors who were regularly sent in to make sure Kyeongdong looked tidy. Better still, the village was set up with giant speakers that blasted out reasons for South Koreans to defect. But when this had little effect, the tapes were switched to more general North Korean propaganda. What makes this, in my mind, the most impressive Potemkin village going is the fact that even after surveillance technology got a lot better and it became very easy for pretty much anybody to be able to tell that Kyeongdong is a bald-faced lie, North Koreans have just kept running it, as if it could actually convince anybody that North Korea is a lovely, happy, smiley place to live in. Their only concession to reality was to turn off the loudspeakers in 2004. So, when constructing your own Potemkin villages, take a lesson from North Korea, why don't you? Even if the artifice is revealed, even if it's, say, proven to everyone that you're not actually in a professional television recording studio, but instead, say, are in your living room, never admit to any reality except the one in your head. Anyways, I hope your own little Potemkin projects go well, and I'll see you next week when I'll be doing the show live from the Earth's molten core with a musical performance by Radiohead and a special guest appearance by the ghost of Elton John. Bye!
You know, the best thing about the ghost of Elton John is that he totally freaks out whenever he sees the real Elton John. I say to him, "Ghost Elton John, shouldn't real Elton John be scared of you?" And he's all,